Hi, it's Alex. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a little while, a week or two maybe, and obviously what's been going on in the world has been really tough. I am here to talk about sewing, but I want to acknowledge what's been going on in regard to Black Lives Matter. Clearly, racism is not my lived experience, but shouldn't be anybody's lived experience, should it? The wonderful Carolyn of Diary of a Sewing Fanatic has the woman who makes me feel better about my fabric stash, because hers is huge. She has put together Black Makers Matter over on Instagram, and that is probably a really good place to start if you're looking for any resources to kind of educate yourselves a little bit. Lots of people have shared resources. I am also going to put in the description box below a list of beauty and skincare companies that you might want to think twice about giving your money to, because most of us who sew are female. Not all of us, I know. But yeah, I certainly want to think twice about who's getting my money. So let's hope that this is a real turning point in the fight against racism and not just some social media trend that's fleeting and forgotten about in a week or two. So my Nani Iro fabric from Japan arrived, and that means that following the disaster I had previously, I'll do a link somewhere, I have completed my Pulmu skirt, and I'm going to show you that in a sec. But first of all, I wanted to say a big warm welcome to all the new subscribers I've got. Yeah, thank you very much for pressing that button. I am really enjoying the kind of community that we're generating around this channel. So, you know, anybody new, please feel free to join in to any suggestions or comments or thoughts or feedback. I always reply to any comments on YouTube. In fact, it's one of the bits of doing this channel that I'm really enjoying the most. And I want to say a big hello to all the people that have come over from Kristen's channel, the Dahlia Society. If you don't know her, go and check her out. I really love her videos. She posts pretty frequently here on YouTube. I kind of relate to her because I feel that we're at a very similar stage in life. But she's over in Australia. She makes a lot of her videos out in her garden, which, I'll be honest, looks more like a park than a garden. I really enjoyed a recent video where she had a flock of galahs going overhead while she was talking. I didn't even know a galah was a real thing. She also made and did a brilliant review of the Passiflor dress that I made previously, and it was really remiss of me. I meant to say on that video, go check her out, because I went more coat and kind of plain. She went more floral and dress-like, and she had some really good thoughts on it as well. And she made two versions, and they both look brilliant. She's got a really good eye. I was going to say she's got a good eye for a colour. I think we like the same kind of colours. So anyway, go check her out because she's really good. And all the people that have come over from her, thank you. And hope you stick around. So very quickly, before I move on, I'm just going to show you, there's a couple of things, a couple of deliveries I've had recently. I bought, this is actually a replacement, I bought a new one of these. Hold on, I'm going to do the YouTube thing. So it's a screw punch. I bought this on Amazon. If you type in Japanese screw punch, this will come up. And I found it to be absolutely invaluable for things like punching holes in belts, I mean just generally for the family. I use it for punching holes in paper patterns at the head of darts, so I can easily chalk through when I'm laying out my patterns, for when you're making jeans buttons and you're pushing the jeans button through, making holes in fabric. I actually use it quite a lot, and it comes with additional heads, so you've got different widths. It's really useful. Some of the fabric shops sell them for way more. You know, I think they kind of go from the artisan angle, but yeah, I got mine on Amazon. This is actually a replacement, and I lent mine to my daughter. She was making something in her room, and she used it without using it on a cutting board, and it completely ruined the head, and it happened to be the one that I used the most, so I've just got a replacement. So yeah, if you do get one of these, you want to use it on a cutting board, you know, rubber cutting mat. But just thought I would show you that because it's actually something I kind of reach for quite often. And the other thing that arrived in the last week or 10 days was my summer update of fabrics from the Fabric Swatch Club from Lulu Designs. It comes in a box like that. Quite often these updates are prints as opposed to the main box that tends to have predominantly plains, because they're the ones that are kind of available year round. So yeah, these ones are not necessarily here all year. So as we have discussed before, I am an autumn, so it's really nice. I mean, actually very tempted as per. I got this one here, which is 100% poly, and I love the colours in that, called Cognac Spice. This one here, I mean, anybody who's an autumn will get the same collection. This I think is fab because Dot's Green Thumb, it's 100% cotton, and I'll be honest, I might not have chosen that had I seen it on the website, because I would be worried about, I like to feel cotton and check it's not too thick and quilty like, and it's got just the right weight for a summer dress or a blouse, so I really like that one. This one is super cute, Lucky Kitty, which is 100% viscose. I don't know the prices of these, you'll have to check on their website. And this one I really like, which is also a viscose Arctic Wools. Love the colours in that, absolutely love that. So very tempting, thought I'd show you my update. Obviously I get the autumn box, so the spring, summer and winter boxes will be different. So as I said, the fabric arrived from Japan. It actually, considering there's a global pandemic going on, arrived really, really quickly. So I finished making my Pulmu skirt. So it's from Named Patterns, and it's a pattern that I haven't really seen. I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen anybody make it. Certainly not seen anything on Instagram. I've made it before, I made it in denim. It is supposed to be a lined skirt, so when I made the denim version, obviously you're not going to line denim, so I just kind of, yeah, got round that, didn't line it, and just used my brain in terms of how I dealt with the side vents. But it has an invisible zip at the back. Now I had to improvise because no nipping out to the shops, but actually it's hidden behind the belt, so the fact that I used a much darker zip is frankly neither here nor there. That could have been any colour really. So it has an invisible zip at the back. It has these amazing, they're not side seams, they kind of come round to the front either side. It's almost like a godet, but not. That's good, isn't it? I'll put the line drawing up, hopefully that will make it clearer. It also has side vents so that you can walk, and it's super high-waisted. I mean, it's proper Simon Cowell high-waisted, which I really like. I think a pencil skirt kind of suits most figures and is flattering on most figures, but making it high-waisted, I think, means that, yeah, it kind of, I just think it's a particularly flattering shape, and I really like the details. I love those seams. I think it's really, really nice. It doesn't use an awful lot of fabric, and it's really comfortable to wear. So yeah, it has a belt, and that is fastened with D-rings. So again, I'm using D-rings. When I had to get them for the Passiflor dress, they had them at Lulu Design, so that was brilliant. But again, I was like, what do I do for such a small thing that I need to order? So this time I went and had a look on Amazon, and I did find they were selling like a pack of 10 in all the different metal colours. I tend to wear gold jewellery, but I went for an antique kind of gold rather than full-on gold because it looks a bit garish for me. But yeah, I'll put a link below. I think it was something like £8 for 10 D-rings. So now I've got them in. Of course, now I've bought them, the chances are I won't need them for years. But anyway, I did line it. You know, the pattern calls for that. I think this fabric is, I mean, it's a linen. It's a relatively kind of typical linen, really. It's got a lot of movement to it. It is going to crease, you know, nature of the beast. So I wanted to line it just to give it a bit more structure. and to protect this fabric really. So I used some, I think this is a linen blend from my stash, not quite a nude, it is more of a pinky colour. So I did line it. The instructions from named patterns were absolutely fine. They are not the kind of instructions like you might get from someone like Helen's Closet or from Dhurata that really hold your hand through every step of the way, but they certainly give you everything you need. They are nice and clear. They do take you through it step by step. So they're sort of sitting somewhere in the middle in a kind of perfectly acceptable category. They do use the method of bagging out to attach the lining to the outer. And I've said before, certainly if you've looked at my coat making tips video, that I am just not a fan of that method. But I do find that if I'm using a pattern for the first time, that it's a good idea to go with the instructions. So I did use that method and it's okay, but it hasn't won me round. The reason I don't like it is that you are slightly in danger of lining either pulling up and therefore kind of creating strange shapes with your outer fabric, or hanging down, and nobody wants to see a lining sort of hanging down below the hem. And I just think there's no need for it. I prefer to do it by hand, and this is from someone who absolutely hates hand sewing. So I just don't think it's the best way to do it. That's just personal taste. That's the lining side. What it meant is that when I put it on at the side vent here, you've got a kind of weird baggy sort of shape. So rather than falling down and that being nice and crisp like that, it was more sort of doing something like that. So I did still have to go in and do a couple of hand stitches just to kind of, little invisible stitches between the two, between the outer and the lining, just to keep that nice and flat and stop bagging out. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's still not a method I enjoy. I did have to piece together the belt a little bit, but I did that on the lining. So I've got that bit of the selvage on the inside of my belt. I kind of wanted to keep it just as a little reminder of my previous mistake. Without a doubt, this is one of my most favourite things that I have made this year. We spend lots of time making all sorts of bits and pieces that you're going to use in your wardrobe all the time. Yeah, I made this. This is another Orlando t-shirt. That's the pattern from Seamwork magazine. The only thing I changed was I did add about 2.5 centimetres up on the scoop neck, because it's naturally quite a low scoop. So just did that. Plain fitted white t-shirt. Mostly I made it to go with this skirt. Make lots of things like that that are great, that you're going to wear time and time again, but sometimes you make things that are particularly special and that you particularly love, and this skirt is definitely one of those. As you know, I have loved this fabric for a while. Yeah, you know when you see a fabric and you go, that is absolutely me, and this is one of them. So I'm glad that I splashed out on it. So I love the fabric. I absolutely love the design of this skirt. I think it's flattering. I think it's got all these brilliant details to it. And I feel like the fabric works really well with the pattern. So I know I'm going to wear it lots. Yeah, I'm really, really thrilled to bits. And you know what makes it kind of a little bit more special is I would not have thought of making a skirt with this fabric. It didn't even enter my mind until you guys suggested it. So yeah, thank you very much. I am absolutely thrilled to bits with it. So once I finished it, I had a few sort of bits of fabric left and not quite enough to make anything sort of decent out of, really. So I was thinking about what to make, and it was when we had really good weather last week, and earlier on that day my daughter and I were having a bit of a fight, too strong a word, but she was trying to steal my summer hat from me, and I was sitting outside in the sun, and I always like to have a hat with a wide brim. So I thought, I'm going to make a hat. I have seen that there was a free bucket hat pattern on Lauren's website. She's called Elbe Textiles, I think. Yeah, I'll put a title below. So she has this free bucket hat. I was going to make that, but I then spotted on her website that she has this one, and this is the Serpentine Hat, which isn't a free one. You pay for this one, but converted into pounds, it was £2.90. So not going to break the bank. And I just like something with a wider brim because I want the sun off my face. I stupidly didn't do that when I was younger, and that's where these wrinkles came from. So I want the sun off my face now. Bucket hats are great, they're back on trend, but I'm one of those people that saw them the first time round, so not sure, maybe I will. But yeah, so I made a hat. Never made a hat before. The instructions were really good, really clear. It does come in multiple sizes, so you measure your head and find your size and use that one accordingly. You can choose to interface the brim or not, depending on how stiff you might want it. Now, I did interface the brim, but I don't think I used interfacing that was strong enough. So when I came to put it on, it was even more floppy than it is now. It was floppier than I wanted it to be. So what I ended up doing was a row of stitches all the way around the edge of the brim. I don't entirely know why, but I lined it with a different fabric just on the brim. You can probably see much clearer. And on the right side, they kind of disappear anyway. So I did that really just to see if it stiffened it up a bit, which it did. It definitely gave it a little bit more body. If I make another one, I'll just use a thicker interfacing, I think. I mean, alternatively, I could spray it with some starch, but it doesn't bother me. I still quite like the level of floppiness. It did do my eyes in a little bit, keeping that stitching going all the way around. Started here and this just went round, and then when I got back to where I started from, I put a pin in and sort of about 1 centimetre out, aimed for that, and then once I'd done that, all I had to do was just keep the edge of my foot in line, which if this had been a plain fabric or a contrasting thread, that would have been fairly easy to see, but you can imagine it wasn't easy at all. Definitely putting those stitches in really helped with the floppy factor, but yeah, I think it's all right like this. I'm not sure I'd want it to be sort of uber structured. I did a medium. I possibly could have done the next size down, possibly a tiny bit too big, and I wouldn't say I had a particularly small head. So yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with that, because yeah, I know I'll wear it with the skirt, but I also be very happy to wear this, you know, when I'm wearing something completely different. And in this fabric, it's fairly neutral, so I don't have to worry too much about it going with whatever else I'm wearing. And then I still had a little bit of fabric left, so I did what we're probably all going to be doing for the next little while, is I made myself a matching face mask. Yeah, using Dhurata's pattern, her free pattern, I'll put a link below. I'm kind of making these with my eyes closed really, because I've made so many now. So, but I still feel that this is my favourite one because of its shaping. Yeah, so I'm not sure that I'm going to wear hat, mask and skirt all together. It's a little bit much. I'll put some pictures. You tell me what you think. In fact, please tell me what you think in the comments below. But any combination of is going to really work, and these literally just take 20 minutes to make now. So it's a good thing to use any bits and pieces for. And I still have a bit of a random piece of it left, so I'm keeping hold of this. Look at, that's what I've got left, which is not enough to make a top or anything really substantial out of, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for a pattern for maybe like a small handbag or a purse, what you know in the UK call a purse. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find something just to use that little bit. The other thing I want to say was that I talked about going through my sewing pattern stash, and I'm definitely planning to do that. Now, I did put a poll on the community tab here on YouTube, another thing, you know, that I occasionally do, so please join in. And I did put a little poll up asking whether people thought that my proposed title, What the Frock, was either, yeah, go for it, or bit too much. And I think there was about 90 odd people voted, and at one point it was 80% for and 20% against, and a few people commented, few people who were against commented, and I got a bit swayed by that and thought, yeah, I don't want to kind of ruffle any feathers, so I probably won't do it. But it's got up to kind of 90%, 91%, yeah, go for it. And I'm just thinking, do you know what? It's just a bit of fun. I'm not here to offend anyone. So I am going to do a video. Next one will be fabric haul. One after that will be going through dresses. So that will be What the Frock dress patterns. So that's me done for now. In the meantime, go check out Black Makers Matter over on Instagram. Go check out Kristen at the Dahlia Society. I'll put links below for all of this, and enjoy your sewing. Okay, see you soon. I'll be back with the fabric haul next. Bye bye.